Hello to you all the viewers. This is Obin of Africa's Future Africa program. I'm on the mobile hosting and producing this program. Have a good time with us. I'm joined by one guest today, and my guest today is a Pan-Africanist analyst and the director of one Africa's largest Pan-African media platform with over 1 million followers and 250 million viewers across Africa and diaspora. My guest today is Michael Omare. Michael Omare, a very warm welcome to you, and many thanks for joining me. Welcome to this program.
Thank you for having me.
Good. Just to start with, who is Michael Omare? Please introduce yourself, and then we'll proceed to our today's agenda.
I'm the director of Tunacheki. I go by Mikey Mushi. That's like what my viewers know me as. But the whole point of my platform is to tell our own African stories. So we should no longer rely on international media organizations to tell us about where we live, where we sleep, where we eat. We have the own ability to tell our own fellow Africans about our house, our home, our community. So that's why our channel exists. That's why we started to inform fellow Africans about our own Africa, not how Westerners or other people see us, how we see ourselves.
How are you following the situation in this country, in Ethiopia, the recent developments and the current situation in this country? What is your understanding about it?
Yeah, so we've been following the situation very closely from when it started in November, right? We didn't know it will grow to such a huge, like a huge event, like globally in Africa and in the region. Like how we came across the story, it was just a normal disturbance. How it started in November. A group attacked, how the story came, a group attacked a military base in Ethiopia, right? And we thought it would be taken care of. But now, as we see how things have really turned and everybody on the world is involved in a local matter.
Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, is at the war front in the fight with the terrorists and the Western pressure against Ethiopia. Do you think his physical presence at the front line is impactful?
Yes, we really think it's actually turning the tides towards the Ethiopian military pushing back the TPLF. So the whole point of being a leader is to lead your people, right? So Abiy is showing the normal Ethiopian person, is showing the normal like African. If you love your country, you fight for what you love. So we really see it as a positive influence for people who are willing to fight for their country and people who are willing to actually do something for their country, not just sitting back and complaining. If you have a problem, you go and solve it. And that's what Abiy is showing, first of all, Ethiopians, and he's also showing Africans.
In the latest hashtag No More movement, which started as snowflake in Ethiopia and has now become an avalanche and gathering all African voices together against the neo-colonialization. And so do you think that this could be a sign for the rebirth of Pan-Africanism again?
Yes, because we've always had this problem. Before No More started, we were trying to tell our fellow Africans that all these media news organizations portray you in a negative way, they misinform you, right? So, but with the No More movement, a lot of Africans, a lot of Ethiopians, a lot of Somalians, a lot of Eritreans have seen it for themselves, right? You know, it's very different when something is happening to other people, but when it's happening to you, it's very easy for you to see. So the Ethiopians in the diaspora, they're seeing it being done to them like currently. So we really see this No More movement will gain momentum across not just Ethiopia, Eritrea, Kenya, Somalia, but across the whole of Africa, because even Burkina Faso, they've started their own No More campaign against the French military there. In Nigeria, they started their No More campaign. So it's spreading. Although it started in the diaspora, the Ethiopian diaspora, it's spreading all over Africa. So we really think that when Ethiopia solves the current conflict it's going through, the No More movement will not end there. It's just a start, and it started in Ethiopia.
Great. President Macky Sall of Senegal and President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa have officially claimed Africa needs to have a permanent representative in the United Nations Security Council, UNSC, to have a permanent representative, which the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, also officially joined and expressed his support officially. And what does this mean for Africans?
So we've been following this situation very closely. Africa has always called for to have a seat on the Security Council in the United Nations. So maybe to tell your viewers how it works, the United Nations has all these countries, right? But there are five countries who are permanent members of the United Nations. And all those 5 countries are the ones that control the United Nations. They're the ones that make decisions. They're the ones that vote for, like when it comes to conflict intervention. So technically, those 5 countries, which are all America, all European countries, and China, are the ones who control the agenda of the United Nations. Africa needs its own voice. Africa does not need foreigners making its choices for it. So that's why EB, the South African President Ramaphosa, Uhuru Kenyatta, and Macky Sall are calling for Africa to have a permanent seat. And they're not just saying one, they want not less than 2 seats. And this call was also started by the late Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe back in the 90s. So they've been doing meetings and just taking us around over decades, but still we are adamant that Africa deserves not 1, but 2 permanent United Nations security seats.
What the role of African Union in time of crisis in one African country?
As we think it should be the role of the African Union to intervene in matters exactly like this. But so far, we've been extremely disappointed with the African Union in general, because all they're doing is that they are inviting other countries, the United States, the United Kingdom, the United Nations, to intervene on their behalf. They don't have the strength. They are not showing African leadership, and we are extremely disappointed at how they're letting Ethiopians down, first of all, and they're letting all Africans down. Because after Ethiopia, what if something happens like that to Kenya, to Somalia? Like, all they'll do is sit back and invite other people to try to fix their responsibilities. So we call for the African Union to take leadership and show Africans that if something like this happens to their country, where other foreign nations are directly interfering, trying to unseat a sitting president, right, a democratically elected president, that they should say no. They should show strength and leadership. So that's our call to the African Union. But so far, to answer your question, we feel they've done not so good in defending African and defending Ethiopia.
Good. Nowadays, many Pan-Africanists are saying that Ethiopia is fighting the Africa's war, the Africa's battle. First of all, do you agree with this point? If so, why the rest of African countries are sleeping and not showing their solidarity with Ethiopia? Because Ethiopia is fighting the Western pressure or for their interference into the Africa's affairs. What is your understanding about that? And what should be the way forward to solve this problem?
Personally, as a human being, if something is not directly affecting you, it is not your problem, right? So Ethiopia right now is being attacked, right? It's being defamed. It's being attacked from all sides. Ethiopians are feeling the pain, they're suffering, right? But if it's another country watching Ethiopia, it's hard for them to feel exactly how you're feeling. A good example I'll give you, when Libya was being attacked by the EU, by the Americans, very few Africans defended Libya, right? And look at Libya now, civil war, destroyed, like they've had no real leadership since it was destroyed. So until it happens to you, right? And we're learning it the hard way. Libya was taken down, right? Zimbabwe was also taken down. Now it's Ethiopia's turn. So, but Africans need to learn, right? That just because it's not happening to you directly, it doesn't mean it will not happen to you next. So what is stopping the people who are causing problems in Ethiopia? After they finish with Ethiopia, they go to Somalia, they go to Djibouti, they go to Eritrea. There's nothing stopping them. But us as Africans, yeah, especially young Africans, we need to learn. If you do not fight for your brother, when it comes for your turn, who will fight for you? So we have to stick together as Africans, as Pan-Africanists, and fight together with Ethiopia, because Ethiopia's fight is Africa's fight. right? And Ethiopia is the seat of the African Union. Ethiopia is the only African country that has never been colonized. So the reasoning is, if they can take down Ethiopia, right, a powerful country like Ethiopia, how easy will it be to take down the other countries, right? Ethiopia has the second most, it's the second most populous country in Africa, 130 million, like Africans, right? So if Ethiopia is easy to take down, how will it be a country like Rwanda, Togo, that has 1 million, right? So we have to fight for our brothers so that when our brother is strong, we will also be strong.
In an interview with regional television last time, TPLF spokesperson Getachew Reda says the US grants them a green card too much to the capital. What does this mean for you?
So for us, we are really not shocked. The United States, for those of you who don't know United States history, it has been doing this for for years, especially in South America. They intervened in Nicaragua, right? They intervened in Cuba. They intervened in Venezuela. They've been doing this in their neighborhood. They've been doing it in Haiti. Recently, there was a failed coup in Haiti, and they've perfected this to an art where if there's a country that does not have the same interests as them, right? The best way the United States tries to solve this is by changing the regime. So, and this is why I'm also worried about the TPLF, because the TPLF think they are friends with the United States, but the United States would easily choose another group if the TPLF does not do exactly as they say, right? So the TPLF thinks, oh, we've got this support. The United States might be helping us with allegedly satellite imagery. They might be helping us with advice. But once the TPLF officials disagree with the United States, they'll be out as quickly as they have been put inside. So this is what most of these African countries, the people who cause problems, don't realize, right? Just because the United States is supporting your cause right now, once they don't need you, they'll get rid of you right now. So like a good example, if EB decided to agree with the United States to stop building the Grand Renaissance Dam, if it chases out all the Chinese investing in Ethiopia, do you think they'll cause problems for him? No, they'll quickly continue supporting him. The TPLF will be gone within a day, right? So that's the thing people don't realize about the United States. Just because somebody is helping you achieve something, it doesn't mean they're your friends. So the TPLF might think the United States, all these other countries are on their sides, but no, they'll really find out the hard way that they're alone.
Great. Ethiopians or Ethiopian diasporas living in different parts of the world, and Eritreans also, and some friends of Ethiopia and African countries are also angrily protesting against the Western or some Western countries' pressure on Ethiopia and Eritrea and their fake news and propagandas about this country. I want to hear your reflection about this.
Western media news organization is usually an arm of their respective governments, right? The BBC works for the British government. The BBC works for the British people, right? BBC does not make news to help Africans. BBC makes news to serve the British people and their interests. The same with CNN, the same way with like Reuters, the same way with AP. They are all agents to achieve a certain goal. So as an African, you should never for one time watch any of these news shows thinking they have your interests at mind. They work for their own interests. They work for the interests of their own governments. And this should be a wake-up call for especially all African journalists, right? To stop working with these institutions, for all African journalists to start building their own media houses and to fight back, right? This is a time where Africans are seeing reality of how these media houses work, right? If you are against them, they take you down. If you are for them, they're your friends. So Africans need to learn. Africans need to learn that they're alone, and if they don't build their own media houses, if they don't tell their own news, there are very many people waiting to take that chance and use it to control the minds of Africans.
So Joe Biden last week organized a democracy summit and invited some African countries leaders, but the summit gets wide opposition and criticism from different stakeholders. What is your understanding about the summit?
Yeah, so the summit was basically a summit of friends of the United States, countries that do what the United States tell them. It's simple as that, right? If the United States don't like you, you're not invited, right? It wasn't about democracy, it wasn't about freedom, it was just about countries that work with the United States. So like I can add this, right? So what's going on in Ethiopia right now, right? You can technically blame all of it you cannot technically blame all of it to China, right? China is the one that went to Ethiopia and started treating Ethiopia as a partner. They started doing business with Ethiopia. They started making money with Ethiopia. The United States got scared, right? And now it's doing what it's doing, not to fight Ethiopians, not to protect human rights. They're doing it to fight China. They're called proxy wars, right? United States is fighting with China, and it's using the blood of Ethiopians to do it. Technically, that's what's going on. And this summit was just like, you know, when you have a club, you invite your friends. So they're just inviting the people who are in line with what. If the United States say jump, they jump. If the United States say sanction Ethiopia, they sanction Ethiopia. If the United States say stop providing drones or military weaponry to Ethiopia, they do. So that's why countries like the UAE can never get an invitation. That's why countries like Turkey can never get an invitation. That's why countries like China and Russia will never get an invitation, because they speak for their own. They've got their own values. They've got their own agenda.
On the occasion, President Biden said that the event wasn't about accepting that any country's democracy was perfect, but about renewing democracy and discussing ways to further strengthen these democratic institutions. How do you see his statement?
Like, I think that statement is a total joke and hypocritical, because just this week, right, the United Nations Human Rights Council they are bringing Ethiopia, right? They wrote a declaration against Ethiopia. This is ironical because it comes at a week where the United States, right, they were charged for killing 10 innocent civilians and 7 innocent children using a drone, right? So, and according to the Human Rights Commission, the only thing they got was they just said it was a mistake, and they got away with it. Nobody got charged for killing 7 children. Nobody got arrested for killing 7 children. So democracy is democracy when it only works for the United States, right? That's why Joe Biden is calling his friends to tell them like that. If you're with us, you can do whatever you can do whatever you want, and you'll be safe, because we're the ones who control all these institutions. So yeah, like it's very ironical that a country that has caused wars in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya, is telling other countries like China, that has never started any wars, Russia that is mostly in its region, to behave, and the country that out of all other countries misbehave and use their power to control other countries.
First of all, why the US wanted to exclude some African countries, and or do you think this is the value of democracy?
No. Like for them, like, people always confuse when the United States says democracy, they mostly say capitalism, right? So if the United States is not financially gaining from you, you are not you're not their friend, right? If they can't come to your country and do business as they will, if they can't come to your country and make deals, if they can't come and tell you, hey, Ethiopia, stop building that dam, Ethiopia listens, right? Like a good country. So the countries that got the invitation, the African countries, there were 17. The countries that are in line with American current trajectory, like they're the ones that America sees we can do business with them. But if you have links with China, if you have links with Turkey, UAE, you're out of the club. So it has nothing to do with democracy completely, and it's just a club for this group, because they were being ridiculed because the United Nations is supposed to call a meeting like this, not the United States, right? A country cannot claim it's the beacon of democracy and summon other countries to follow it. It's the job of the United Nations.
One of the world's most superpowers, Russia and also China, again, was not invited, as you said, in the Summit of Democracy that was organized by the United States of America, US. And China is accusing the United States for politicizing and weaponizing democracy. Contrary to this point, or contrary to this situation, Taiwan was invited in the summit. What does this imply?
So this is like a good example. It's like America not inviting Ethiopia, but inviting the TPLF. That's how it's like how you're not inviting China, but you're inviting Taiwan. That means you are stoking animosity towards Taiwan and China, right? Right. So it's like they're telling Taiwan, America is ready to help you in your endeavors. If you want to make a move against China, if you want to defend, like they're just showing that Taiwan is their friend and militarily they're willing to defend it. So this is a threat to China because like China, as you said, is a superpower. It's capable of managing its own region. The United States has no business being like around China. So it's just two superpowers fighting, and the victims will be, as I said, Ethiopians, and the victims next will be Taiwanese, right? Because if there's a war, it's not Americans who would suffer and die, it's Taiwanese, right? So that's how America works. Yeah. Like exactly with the other regions they've been in, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan. It's not Americans who are suffering, it's the people who live there. The countries are left devastated. Yeah, so that's how America functions.
What should be the way forward for all Africans in Africa in general in liberating itself from the Western pressure and their interference into our very domestic affairs?
Yeah, so the best way right now is for all Africans, not just Ethiopians, Eritreans, or people in the Horn, to join the Nomo movement, right? It's very important to continue pressuring, protesting, and also even personally, I think better than protesting, we should start boycotting. Right? So stop watching CNN, stop watching BBC, stop watching Reuters as an African, or if you're on the continent or in the diaspora. Stop watching these news organizations because you're helping them, you're giving them money, you're financing them, destroy your country. So by stopping giving them CNN money, by subscribing to a CNN subscription, by subscribing to a BBC subscription, those in the diaspora, you can start by boycotting them. Here in the continent, you can start by also mobilizing people in the continent, because West Africa has a huge problem with the French interference, right? Southern Africa has also a huge problem with the European interference. East Africa, in the Horn, we've had this problem of American interference, and also in North Africa, they've got their own problems. So we should, instead of fighting differently, we should come together and try to fight together, like as a continent. Say, hey, we no more of interference, no more of manipulating our youths, no more of this control. So my point should be, Africa should, for the first time in our history, fight as one.
I'm almost done with all my questions. And lastly, if you have a general message for the people, government of Ethiopia, and Africans in general, over to you.
Yeah. So for the government of Ethiopia, we tell them to continue the fight. They're doing a good job. First of all, pushing the TPLF back to the Tigray region, restoring humanitarian aid to the people in the Afar, Afar region, and also fighting back. The Ethiopian government is very brave. It's the few African government that can talk back to the United States, talk back to these European countries. They continue doing that. They continue fighting the media wars. They continue calling out these Western media news organizations. For the Ethiopian people, we can tell them, be brave. They are not alone. right? Africa is fighting with you. They're going through tough times. A lot have lost loved ones in the war. People have lost relatives, but they should continue the fight. They should support their democratically elected president and fight off this invasion, because it's actually an invasion. You think because the TPLF is part of is inside Ethiopia, it's not an invasion. No. It's an invasion coming from outside. And for the Africans, we should continue supporting like Ethiopia. The Horn has been very vocal in supporting Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, Kenya, and also South Sudan, right? We should not just let it be a regional problem. We should let it be a continental problem. All African countries should support Ethiopia because, as I said, if now it's Ethiopia's turn. Ethiopia is being tested, right? Once they're done with Ethiopia, if they succeed or not, they'll go to another country, right? So if you did not support Ethiopia when they needed you, why would you think other African countries will support you when it's your turn? So we encourage all other African countries to support Ethiopia. Don't listen to Western media news organizations. If you want to know what's going on in Ethiopia, go to an Ethiopian YouTube channel. Go to an Ethiopian social media, platforms. Listen to what Ethiopians are saying, right? I'm tired of watching white people calling themselves Ethiopian experts, Ethiopian analysts, right? They've never lived in Ethiopia, right? They don't know any of Ethiopian languages. They don't know Oromo, Oromia. They don't know Amharic. So how can you call yourself an expert if you've never lived in a country and you can't speak the language? So get news from Africans.
Pan-Africanist Michael Omare, I really appreciate you staying time with us. Thank you very much for joining me again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Dear viewers, this will bring us to the end of this edition. I'm Omare by hosting this program. Till the next edition, have a good time.